All our families kinesthetic, number one, and then we vary throughout. So Jimmy is kinesthetic first, and then logical and very auditory. He's very strong in those areas. And then Michael is kinesthetic first, and then visual, and we think auditory. Auditory's in there as well as his first dominant three. And then it was a real eye-opener for our whole family. My husband and I are now able to communicate better with our children and each other, knowing that we're all OptiSensory learners. He was 5 years old and he'd already shut down the school, and that was scary. And so that whole self-esteem issue had already set in at that age. And so we started in January of his kindergarten year, and by the time we got to May and the end of June, his self-esteem had grown. He had really learned so much from her in regards to sounds, reading, and he was right up to par with the top kids in his class by the time June came along. And it was an amazing transformation in him. As I mentioned, he was really, his self-esteem, he was so sad, didn't want to go to school, had a stomach ache every morning, and by June he was just enjoying school, enjoying learning, and it was such a great transformation. And it carried on until first grade and second grade. He's really been able to keep up that stride. His reading he's right at grade level, if not a little bit above, and continues to have and enjoy school. It's interesting that they do get to self-reflect. They get to say, okay, this is how I'm wired, and this is how I need to learn that. So it's almost like when the teacher is relaying something to them, they take that information and then they turn it into what they need to be able to learn. So whether they need to make that picture note, or they need to write something down, or a specific word, or even make their own a hand signal for themselves, they're able to do that and they're learning that at a young age, and that will carry on through high school, maybe even into college. By then they'll be masters at it, and so they'll be able to rewire themselves to however